Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to all the fans of Eplan, welcome to Every Friday with Eplan Tip. Magic begins to raise the standard. What is today's topics? Many people used to ask me that, okay, once I create my project, so in that I have some 40-50 parts. So whereas in my database I have some 1,000 parts. So how do I extract only 40-50 parts so that I can share with my vendor, customer, colleague, with any one of us? But I should be able to share in such a way that I should get these important things also there. What is that? So many times what happens is whenever you ask them to share the part database, either they will give you that in the older one, if you see it, they used to share that MDB file, right? MDB, correct? MDB file. But in the newer version, you might have seen that they will try to share that ADB and ALK file, correct? So if you have 1,000 parts, taking all 1,000 parts and sharing this ADB ALK will not, what do you say, that it will not fulfill the requirement what you are looking for. So whenever if somebody gives you a data, and that data should be in such a way that you should also get images, okay, and if they have any catalog documents also will be there, and most importantly macros. It can be 2D macro or it can be 3D macro. So these three things most of the time we found that it will be missing. So if they just share that data, if they share with the EDB, ELK or XML file or anything, these three data, there is a high chance that it will be missing there. Okay. So whenever you get any data, and if these data are not there for your future projects, it will not going to help you. So this is very important for us to understand. So let us see that if somebody asks you that give me only the project related parts, how exactly we are supposed to share it. When we share, how do we make sure that images, document and macros are also available in it? Okay, so that is important for us to understand. So we will just understand if somebody sends in XML, what happens, ELK, ADB, what happens. Now you understood, correct? So if they don't give you in a proper format, there is a high chance that I'll miss the image, I'll miss the macros and all those things. So what is the right way to give to us and how we can extract those informations? So as usual, you know that things to be aware is most important is Navigator. There is a Navigator called bill of material, so that you should be aware. If you are not aware, then it is very difficult for us to get those informations. Next, parts management, and in that also you should be little knowledge also should be available, that if you want to extract those parts, you should also know how to create a database. So that is another thing. And last one, the most important one, synchronize. Okay. So if you are aware about these things, and that the above requirement can be easily achieved with help of this one. So without delay, what we do, we will just switch to Eplan. So let me switch to Eplan. So here is a project. Oh, okay, I don't have any pages. Let me quickly create. So whenever if somebody creates the entire project and you know what all the parts are available, for this example, I'll quickly drag few devices just to show you quickly. So I'll just press a tab and I'll say click OK. I think you might have seen macro with value sets. So I can just say click OK. After that, I'll say number. Okay, this you can have it. Similarly, I will be just adding one more quickly. So as I drag it, yeah, you can have it X and Y, and you say that I have this particular one. I'll say click OK. So then I will have this particular data. So it can be any data, but the most important what I would be trying to say that first time whenever you set any data of yours, make sure that you are there in which part database. See, right now I'm not in a proper database also. Okay. Generally, when you click any of those parts, it should go to that respective places. Like for example, I have this particular MPCV. Okay. So when I go to parts and when I browse, it should take you to that particular part database. So if it is not taking to your part database, and if you are not, then you will not get the macro what you are looking for. So for that reason, make sure that before adding the circuits and everything, database, this is a database setting. So you can choose which part database you want to be here. And this is the parts management, which will open your database there. Okay. Right now I have few parts. In this first thing, what I said you that once you complete the entire project, you have to just go to view, and here you choose bill of material. Okay. So this bill of material will show you that what all the parts is taken in for this particular project. And these parts is the one which is available for this particular project. Now whether the customer asks, whether the vendor asks, whether the colleague will ask you, whoever asks you, okay. If colleague should not ask, because if you have a common server. If you don't have a common server, then colleague also you may need to share with him. So what you have to do to share the only these parts to be taken. So you have to go to master data. After that you have to go to settings. Temporarily you have to create one new database, because here you will have some 50, 100 database. For that reason, what you do, we will just create temporary one new database. So how do we create that temporary one new database? By clicking this. Plus is nothing but new. That opening the folder is the one is called the existing one. Okay. So right now we are clicking this new, and after that we will put some name, like for example I'll say customer 001. I'll just give it. Okay. You can put your project name or anything which they want to get it. So once I have it, now if I click the management, you can see that you will not find any parts there. See, it is empty. After that, what you do it is, I will select all these parts, right click, and after that what I do, I will use this option. So this is a very important thing. So right now I created a new database. In the new database we didn't have any parts, but whereas these parts are all coming from in my standard database, where it had a macro, document, images, everything is there. So with help of that, now I created a new database, and after that what I did, I said that synchronize part database. So once you say click synchronize part database, now what happens is whatever data from this project, it will go to your SMD folder, and you will find all the parts are readily available here. So you can see that the parts related to maybe auxiliaries or whatever, it says totally 10 parts are available. So like this, you will be able to see that all those parts are coming in this fashion, and similarly those manufacturers are all showing here. Okay, you can see it in this fashion. So once you get these parts, what do you do? Select from top, press shift, select everything together, then you say right click, and if you say export, this is the easiest option. Click on this export and convert them into EDZ. You will get these entire parts together. Okay, and sending this EDZ, what it will be achieving you. So with help of EDZ, what it does is, whether you have a images folder, whether you have a document folder and a macro folder, and most important, you can store the EDZ in parts folder. So keeping these files in a respective places, especially this EDZ, you can keep it here in the parts. After that, you retrieve that EDZ. What it will do it is, it will place the files like macro in the macro place, catalog documents in this place, and finally images in the images place. So it will go and store that respective information in the respective places. So that's why whenever they ask anybody, it's better to share it with EDZ format. Okay. So if you share it with XML means, then again separately you have to share images folder, document folder, and you have to share at macro folder. So please make sure that the best way to share it is go with EDZ. If they expect you to share through XML, then you need to share all those folders. So in that case, again you have to do one more workaround. What you have to do it is, you have to go to file settings. Okay. Then if you go to user management directories. Okay. In this directory, if you want the macros related to the project parts, then you have to create a new scheme for that, and you have to set these macros and images folder separately, and at the bottom you will also have something called document. So these folders are also required to be played accordingly. So that is important for you to have it in that fashion. Okay, but wherever you keep this particular directory, based on that the files will be stored in that. So that's why, remember, as I would have said earlier also, in the user management, one is the directories, other one is the parts. These two are very important. Okay, so once I imported and everything is done, please go back and use the part which you were using it. So once I done it, now no more required, I can stick with what I required there. So that you will be able to have it. Okay, so that is important for you to understand. So right now I have not converted into EDZ. So let me just quickly have it. I'll convert it, but later you have to change the database. Okay, that is very important. So now what I do, I have all these parts. So as I showed you that what I have to do, so you can see all those parts the way it is showing it. I'll select everything together, and after that I'll say export. So here I will browse, and I can store wherever I required. So you can give the name of that. I will say this is a project so and so PRJ001. After that, I will say open. It will be stored there, and I'll say click OK. So all the parts related to the 10 parts, it will be stored there, and that 𝐷Z means whenever customer asks you, okay, sometimes if you don't have that proper one, it will also show some images are missing or something is missing, it will show. Please make sure in your database those macros, those images, those documents are there in the proper place. Otherwise, it will not help us. Okay, that is very important. So once you have it, all those things, generally when it comes to customer, okay, or vendor or whoever, project, you can send it 𝐷Z format, and parts 𝐷Z format, project backup. So these are the two things. If you send it, most of them will be readily available for them. So this is a parts you can send it in 𝐷Z format, and project you can share a backup for them. So in that only they will be able to get whatever required for them. So that is .zw1. Okay. So these two files will definitely help them in many ways. So here they will get all the plot frames, forms, whatever required, layer management, schemes, whatever related to that, all those things they can get it with respect to project. Similarly, for parts also they can get it. That same parts can also be utilized for their further projects if they come across anywhere. So it's always good to share with 𝐷Z. If you are sharing XML, as I said earlier, you also need to share these three folders separately. Which all the ones? Images, then you have to share documents, then you have to share macros. These three folders has to be shared, because XML will only copy the path. It will not show the actual file. So that's why you should be careful. If you're sharing an XML, then definitely there will be images could be missing, documents could be missing, and macros are missing. So that's why you have to take a call. If you're sharing this, then again we have to have all these three. Okay. So that's very important for us to understand. If somebody asks you that, can we share the project parts? Now you can definitely say that, yes, we can share it. And the last and most important, you should not forget is, you have to go back to settings and make sure that the temporary what you have created database, please change to the parts which you are working on that. So this you should not forget. If you forget it, then what happens is for your regular project, it will become a big challenge. So please make sure that is very important. So as I said earlier, if you open, the most important is you can go to view and this bill of material navigator, which will help you in synchronizing the parts data. So this is how you can transfer the parts to part database, then convert into 𝐷Z, and then export it, and then you can share with whoever wants to have it. If somebody who gets that, what he has to do, if you want to, he has to go to master data management. It doesn't mean that you have to create a new part database. No, not required. In this only, you can just go to extras. Okay. Here you can use this option called import, and after that he can browse where exactly that part is available. Okay. Generally, if you ask me, it should be kept in SMD so that it's easy for you to have it. Whether you want to add new records only, whether you want to replace, so which is the one which you want to have it, you can just have it. So sometimes you see that the person who has sent, he might have updated also, means then you choose update existing records and add new ones. So this is also possible to get it. Once you have it, then you say click OK. Then you can see that what all the parts still you want to import it and all those things. In this particular case, there is some problem it is saying it. Okay, but that's fine for me right now. I'll be just having it. But such instructions will be always given. Okay, so that can be easily done. And while importing, you may, okay, in the next video, I'll try to also show you that there are some fields. You say that I want to restrict that fields. The people should not, whenever I import any part database, I don't want that field to be modified. Is it possible to do it in Eplan? Definitely it can be done. I will show in the future video, but that is also possible. So today what we saw is all related to the project parts. How do we have it? And once we have it, how do we get it into our part database? Okay. So hope you got a fair understanding on that parts. So before I could say goodbye, I love to say this one. Please like, to load more contents. Please comment to get quality output. Please share to reach maximum users. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is Vishnuvardhan Reddy. Jai Hind. Have a nice day.